Confessions of an Accountant, where no topic is off the ledger.
Well, thank you, Donna. I had forgotten. I thought we were doing a podcast, so I had forgotten this morning that suddenly we were doing a presentation. So I have had to cobble together something, but I hopefully it gives a good conversation starter here, and that we can. I'm a very relaxed speaker, as you can gather. So if people want to interrupt as we go along, I'm more than happy that we take questions then, rather than wait till the end. So please, if you've got something you just want to chat through or ask a question, just raise your hand. I'm sure Al will do a great job of interrupting me because I'll probably talk a lot. So I think he will have to interrupt to get going. So let me start and get started on it. So we wanted to talk. Donna was very keen that we talked about my new book, which is Why Small Businesses Fail and How to See It Coming. It's called The Drift. And the book, I suppose, in many respects, was sitting on a shelf in my computer, a literal shelf in a file for probably, I don't know, 10 years. I wrote it when I was at Bally Tomlin, the accounting firm that we ran. And I was really, I suppose, badgered by a friend of mine, Daniel Priestley, at the time. I was at a conference with him in Bali, and he was saying you needed to really get out there why you're different and what you're all about, and the book is a way to do it. I know that's part of his KPI process as well, but uh, he was badgering me to get a book, and he and Masami, who run B1G1, the conference I was at, were pushing and pushing for years for me to write this book. So eventually, I started writing this book. I wrote 1,000 words a day, set myself that target, and I guess lots of things were happening with the firm at the time, and the move and the exit and building clarity as we were as well. So it was all a bit frantic. So these 40,000 words were sitting in a file on my computer for about 10 years. I knew they were there, they were nagging me, and I needed to repurpose them for clarity. So rather than writing to small businesses direct, I wanted to write it to accountants. And I thought, oh my goodness, the editing job that's going to take is going to be just too hard, too much. So why don't I write it to both audiences? And everybody says, well, you shouldn't write a book to two audiences. That's a ridiculous thing to do. It'll never work. But I have tried it. I think I've resolved it. I'm sure I'll get told off if I haven't resolved it. So it is a dual book for two audiences. So it talks to the business owners about the issues and challenges they're facing and the types of things that they need to look at, and what numbers are reflected in those issues and challenges. And then it talks to the accountant about what he can do to help those small business owners understand those numbers better and how to move forward. So lots of accountants are reading it because it's good background information for them. It ties the reasons business failed to the numbers that they can see. And it also gives them a solution as to how they can then help that small business owner on a systematic basis going forward. Now, we'll talk a little bit about that later, so let me wait until we delve into that to get into the nitty-gritty of that horrible word advisory that everybody talks about. So I'm going to start with the 7 reasons why business owners fail. It is a book for two audiences. Lots of accountants are giving it to their clients. Just, I'm not a sales pitch, but I'm just telling you, lots of accountants are giving it to their clients because it's a great advert to say, this is who we are, this is why we do what we do, this is what we're about, this is why we're different, and this is why it matters to you. So it is a great advert for you as an accountant to be able to help you demonstrate what you're doing to help your clients move forward. So let's dive in, and you can ask questions as we go along. So I'm going to just give a quick rundown of the 7 reasons because there is the book there and they are talked about in massive detail. It's really interesting. When I used to do this, I used to include it as a bit when I was talking to accountants about the things that they could do to help their clients move forward. So if they understood the challenges, then it was about helping them stop that. So that's why I tended to use it with accountants. But most accountants, when I did it, said those apply to us as well. So this isn't written directly to you, but you are a business owner. So possibly some of the same issues and challenges will be affecting you as well. So if that's the case, no judgment. Let's just uh, let's just stop it and let's make sure we flip the switch on the mistake. So the first biggest challenge that I always see with small business owners is that they don't have a model. Now, what do we mean by model, I guess? The traditional business plan, that 30-page tome that sits in a bottom shelf that's created for a bank manager, maybe when you go for a loan or something from the start, or when you're starting up in your business. That's not what we're talking about here. This is a living, breathing financial model. It understands how we turn a pound of revenue into profit. And the reality is, when I was in practice, most of my clients didn't have a business plan. And the reasons, I guess, were they left corporate life and they thought, I'm not going to have those rigors and structures. I kind of want to do it myself. I want to play it by ear and see how things go. And, I don't need the plan that's forcing me down a certain route. I want to do it my own way. So I think that's one reason why people do it. And I think the other reason why our clients don't do it is because they think, oh, well, I don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. So why am I planning for 12 months' time? Because things are going to change and it's just going to, what's the point? And I think they forget the whole reason behind why we need to build a plan in the first place. And if you think about it, nothing structural in the world is built without a plan. No house, no car, engine, building, nothing gets built without a plan. And it doesn't mean the plan's fixed and it doesn't mean the plan changes. Of course it does. But it gives us an understanding from the get-go about what we're looking to achieve, how we're looking to run that business, how we're going to generate profit and cash, and it'll help us understand whether we're on or off track and maybe signal early whether things are going wrong. The reality is no business in the world, no successful business in the world operates without a plan, but our small business owners think that that's acceptable. So we really need to stop this and help them. And you're going to say to me, well, that's all very well, Aynsley, but plans aren't cheap and people don't want to pay for them. Well, I think we need to help our clients understand the importance of this and what we're looking to achieve with the plan. If we flog them cash flow forecasting and three-way projections, they don't like numbers, they don't get numbers. If we're flogging them a plan that's numbers based, they're unlikely to see or understand why they need it. But if it's part of an overall understanding of where we can help them get to their outcomes, so not focusing on the inputs as we often do as accountants, but the outcomes, which are more money, more time, more freedom, then that's a better play for us to be able to help clients understand why they need a business plan, a financial model of how their business operates and where it's going to make money and how it's going to make money. I think that's the most critical element. So the next thing I've found with business owners is that they try to be all things to all people. And we all know when we start in business, it's all about getting cash in the door. So we definitely need to be trying to take as much business as we can. But the reality is, as we grow and as the business grows, our, I suppose, the expectations on what we're looking to achieve also, again, when we start taking on employees and start trying to grow the business and scale the business, it becomes a very different machine. And if we're always selling different things to different people and we're always selling bespoke, it's very difficult to systemize the business. It's very difficult to market the business. It's very difficult to price what we're doing. It just becomes a complete ad hoc. Everything's different. Everybody's doing things differently. And it's a necessary evil of being all things to all people. Now, we also know the issues with niching, and I won't get into that. Like that if you niche in your business, it gives you an ability to truly understand the customer or a client better, and it also means it's easier to market, speak the same language, talk the language of the clients that you're looking to market to. So it's not just about the niching for niching's sake. This is about systemization, creating a repeatable, a McDonald's in effect, that we can understand the operating systems. We can get people to come in and follow those operating systems and to be able to achieve repeatable results consistently. Because that's what it's really about. It's making a promise to a client or a customer and making sure that promise comes true and doing everything we can to make sure that that's delivered consistently and repeatedly. And if we do everything differently in our organization, it's very hard to do. So trying to serve everyone and be all things to all people is not really the best use of your scarce resources, which is time mostly. And I guess from an accounting perspective, we can see this clearly in that we might have 100 clients. We know from all the maths that the 2225 rule, and Google 2225 rule if you want to check it out, 20% of your clients generate 225% of your profit. So 20% of your clients generate 225% of your profit. So that means the remaining 80% are stealing. That's a harsh word, but you know what I'm saying here. They are eroding 125% of your profit. So it is really important to understand your client mix and do a proper client analysis. Understand which of your clients are creating and generating profit for you, which are dragging you down, which are causing hassles. PETA clients, as the Americans say, and I like that term. So it is really good to follow a annual plan of weeding out the bottom 20% of your clients potentially. to be able to continuously move up the chain. I like the pumpkin plan that Mike Michalowicz wrote about a long time ago, and it's just about weeding out some of the smaller pumpkins so that the bigger ones can grow bigger. And I think you get the analogy there. The next, I suppose, big issue I have with small business owners in their businesses is that they just don't get numbers. And this is twofold. So, firstly, they don't really understand numbers. And this isn't just about small business owners, this is about business owners in general. Richard Branson is famous for talking about not understanding the difference between gross profit and net profit. And for years, he got them mixed up and thought he had much more money than he should have had. And it isn't just about small business owners, but for small business owners, it becomes more critical. And I think as an accountant, I always took the view, oh, look, I'm the numbers person. We'll handle the numbers. Don't worry about them. You be the creative one. You do what you do best. But the reality is we can't be with our clients all the time. They do need to understand the financial decisions of the implications of the decisions that they're taking in the business. They do need to have a grasp of the significant numbers in their business. And at Clarity, we have seven numbers so that we don't overwhelm our clients. So seven numbers for them to focus on. And they kind of pinpoint everything: balance sheet, cash, efficiency, profitability, and in the organization. So a good holistic panel, really, of numbers, a blood panel in many respects. So small business owners don't understand numbers, and I think it's more incumbent on us than ever to be able to help them understand the key numbers in their business and what that means for them going forward. The other big side of this is, and flipping the coin, is that they don't actually get regular financial information. And this, in the world we are with cloud now, when I ask accountants who in their room, what percentage of their clients get regular management accounts, and most will say it's about 10, 15, 20% tops, unless you're running a niche, um, a niche VCFO or virtual finance director or whatever practice that gets called. But most general practices, when we look at it, only 15 to 20% of small business owners get regular management information. And when we then look at the numbers who has a plan, it's about 5 to 10%. So really shocking numbers given where we are with cloud accounting. So again, you're going to say, well, that's fine, Ainsley, but clients don't want to pay for management accounts. And this isn't about the management accounts per se. This is about having regular meetings with the clients to go through their numbers, the key numbers that really matter to them. So again, let me talk about how we can position this all together so it makes more sense and more valuable for that small business owner at a price they want to pay, rather than us trying to again sell them things that they don't really understand and don't want and don't value because they don't understand them. So don't get their numbers is a key one that we can really help them with. And as you can see here, a lot of the mistakes that they're making, we as accountants have inherent, and bookkeepers have the inherent ability to be able to help them in these areas. This is not stuff that's beyond our capability or training or understanding of businesses. The next big challenge we have is that the owner is the ceiling. And I guess when we start in business, we can't afford to take people on. So we do it all ourselves. But as we grow, we forget that we need to delegate appropriately. And in many respects, we know this when we watch sports teams. I mean, England's playing tonight, so let's talk about soccer rather than I normally talk about rugby, but let's talk about soccer. So it's not soccer in England, it's football. Apologies. Let's talk about football. If you're one player and say you're Bellingham playing Argentina tonight, you are going to lose. It's quite simple. But yet in business, if we're one person, we think we can do every single role in the organization and succeed. And the reality is two things. One, we can't do everything. We will fail. And this isn't about employing people full time, by the way. We now know we can outsource, so we can get an element of what we need, you know, either gig economy or part time or offshore or wherever. So this is not about employing people full time, but it's about us understanding what we're good at, focusing on what we are going to generate the best return for the business in both time and money, and making sure that everybody else is looking after the other things. So, for example, your clients will probably be, say, a plumber is doing the quotes, taking ages, forgetting to get them out, not chasing them up. Then they're going out and doing the work. Then they're having to do the invoicing when they get back into the office. All these things that they're doing, just one person, we know that's meaning that they're not making the maximum use of their time and therefore the profitability of the business. So the owner of the ceiling is quite an important one as well. The fifth one is quite interesting, really, because business owners, I guess, think that they know what their clients and customers are looking for. And we might have really had a deep understanding of that at one point when we started our business. But the reality is, as business moves, customers move, customers' interests change, what they value changes. And we need to be making sure that we're constantly aware of what our customers value, what they want, what they're looking for, and deliver it to them. It sounds really simple, but so many business owners don't get it. And so they are delivering things to businesses that they're not really valuing. So this is very important. And at Tebally Tomlin, we did a client advisory board, and it transformed our firm from probably about 2005 right up to 2015, 2016 before I got ready for sale. It drove everything that we did in that organization, and we won a huge number of awards for the way we did business. But it's not for the award's sake I'm talking about this. It's just the fact that the advisory board really drove forward what we were doing. And we took our best clients, stuck them in a room, an independent person asked the questions, what did they do well? What did they do badly? What should they start doing? What should they stop doing? What should they keep doing? And effectively really tried to understand how we could serve our clients better. And, it was important that we followed up on that. We let people know the results of it and kept them abreast of the progress that we were making to try and bridge the gap from where they thought we should be from and where we were. Now, that's a really valuable exercise. However, you can do it really simply. You can take a good client out to lunch and just say to them, what should we start doing? What should we stop doing? And what should we keep doing? So if we can just do that, that would be really great for us to be able to understand what's going on in our business and for our clients to understand what's going on in their customers' heads as well. It's also great to use with the team too, by the way, for a simple appraisal system. What should you start, stop, keep doing as well? And what should we as a firm start, stop, keep doing? So a great three things to ask. And it's much easier than sending a big long survey. And when you send surveys, people don't really fill them in or just tell you what you want to know. So that's why this is a better way of doing it. Number six is an important one. Nobody holds them to account. Accountability is the secret sauce of success. Accountability is in the name of accountants, surprisingly. So we should be the best persons from an accountability perspective. But accountability study was done in the US. There's this kind of old wives' tale about Harvard research, which shows that if you had written goals and what was the likelihood of being achieving them. Well, that was apparently turned out to be complete hooey. So a university in Southern California set out to actually test what would that look like. So it did a survey and it found that small business owners who had written goals and who were held accountable achieved 78% more. Now, I know from my days in practice, it was probably 100%. So I will even go with the lower figure of 78%. But if we can help our clients achieve 78% more, and we can help them achieve the right 78%, then that will make a massive difference on their future. And the last one, as we know, is about cash. Most of our clients manage cash by feel, not by flow. They don't understand the flow of cash in their business. They don't understand the cash days. They don't understand how cash cycles through the business. They don't understand the difference between profit and cash. How many times have you got a sort of when you're having an accounts meeting with a client and they say to you, I can't have made all that profit. Where's all the cash gone? So this is about really helping our clients understand their cash cycle, their cash conversion cycle, their cash days, and helping them drive that number down and making sure that they are not just managing on their bank balance, but are understanding the differences between profit and cash and the understanding what's on the balance sheet effectively, the debtors, the creditors, and understanding the implications and the stock and the implications that has on their cash and how tight cash is. So those are the main seven business mistakes that I have seen from practice that clients make over and over and over again. So quick introduction to those. Does anybody have any questions or any comments? If you go, the book is great, and without this sounds dreadful talking about this book this way. I feel quite bad about it sometimes because I mean it is my book, but the book is great from a respect that it really looks at the key numbers in the business and how they are reflected in the issues and challenges that are facing our clients. So we can understand if these three things are flagging up quite significantly, it's likely this is the area that they're having a problem in. And vice versa, if they're having this problem, these are the numbers that we need to look at. I won't go through it in detail other than say that it is in the book and I can obviously share slides with people. So happy to do that. We actually have a playbook basically that will show you the main reasons and the numbers and how they correlate and how you can effectively become a blood panel analyst, I should say, um, to be able to understand what's going on in the business. So if that's something that you want and you're interested in that playbook, then please let me know as well. We can certainly I can get Donna to share with everybody. But a great way to be able to understand what numbers are showing up in what reasons, and then effectively able to help that business owner move forward. So really great simple diagnostic, I think, for that business owner. I wanted to touch on AI because this is really critical and important. Now, I don't want to be fear mongering, and I'm not trying to fear monger. I'm just letting you know that there have been significant advances in AI in February and substantial advances again in May. And I don't know how far long off we are where a client will be using Xero or QuickBooks with Anthropic and doing their own cash flow forecasts and projections and doing their own potentially set of accounts long term. And I guess I'm concerned that they will walk in the door to us as accountants and they used to hand their records as it was and say, oh, my books are fantastic. You're just going to have to turn them into a set of accounts. We know this. Well, what happens when they walk in and say, here are my accounts, can you just sign them off? And we know we can't do that. We're going to have to probably do as much work to unravel that, to be able to re-prepare them and to be able to sign them. And our clients are probably going to say, no, thank you. I don't want to pay for that. I'll do it myself. I want to, I suppose, put accountants in front of the the play here about where we're going. And I don't know when that's going to be. Now, a couple of people in this audience know that Steve and I had been working for a while on a compliance engine separate from Clarity, because the biggest reason we get for people not doing business advisory is they tell us that they are bogged down with team, can't recruit, struggling, overwhelmed with compliance, and basically they will love to get to helping their clients with business advisory services, but that's something next year, the year after, or when we get XYZ done. So we had been looking at, okay, so how do we solve that problem? Both of us having been accountants. So Steve is my business partner at Clarity. And I guess in February, with the uplift in the capabilities of Claude at that stage, which really transformed the large language models that they were and their financial acuity, we thought, okay, there's a possibility here that we can use AI to be able to help us here. And then when Anthropic released their 14 financial agents in May, aimed at high street, sorry, enterprise and Wall Street and all the rest of it, we thought, hang on a sec, these directly affect what the work that we as accountants do. So we looked at how would we protect accountants from basically somebody doing their own set of accounts or walking in and saying, I want you to file these for me. So we have built the engine and it does a set of accounts in 7.3 seconds. Now, we are building stuff around this because clearly we don't want AI touching sensitive financial data. And we are probably, I'm not sure how long we are away from having a full, complete product because it has to be 100% complete. This isn't a product you can release to market, which is like 50% good enough or 90% good enough. It needs to be 100%. I think we are probably weeks away from having a complete engine for you as accountants, which will take a trial balance or whatever data you put in, will cleanse it, anonymize it, will machine learn it, basically. So the most of the work we do as accountants is actually automation and machine learning, which the machine can be taught. We don't even need to go into AI for most of it. And we pull in the AI when we need help. So when a transaction's missing, or when we need advice or support on overdrawn direct loan accounts or the taxation implications of certain transactions. And that's what the AI is really good at. So this is a combination effect between both machine learning, automation, and AI put together in a framework where an accountant can basically do a set of accounts. I think if we slow it down so that the accountant feels in control, which is what we've done, and takes ownership of certain elements of it and pushes buttons and talks to the client and gives feedback, it probably is an hour's work going forward to do a full set of accounts done outstandingly well, better than we're probably doing at the moment. I know most accountants that we talk to say, oh, I can do a set of accounts in 7 or 10 hours. We know when we do the maths, that's probably more like 20, 23 hours if we average out the time there. So I know where AI is going, and I know it because we're doing it as well. So I am not doing this to frighten you. I'm just doing it to say it's coming down the road. I think we're going to get there faster than anybody else and help you with this. But just be aware if we don't, somebody else is breathing down our neck here, and we just need to be careful about when that's going to happen. So that's all I'm going to say about AI. I'm not going to frighten anybody anymore about it, and we're not going to go into the stuff. What I want to show you here is why you are better than AI, and why you need to be telling your clients and why you need to be getting out front and center with this because it's really, really critical. The first one is we don't lie. Studies show that AI basically will agree with the user 50% more than it should do, even when it knows you are wrong. So let's be clear on that. AI will agree with you 50% more than it should, even when it knows you are wrong. And the reason it does that is because it's understood us as humans. It's understood that to keep us engaged, it needs to agree with us. It understands that we are more likely to trust it if it tells us what we want to hear. That's our human flaw. It's not exploiting it, I don't think, but that's what it's doing and why it's doing it. Now, this has big implications for our clients. If they are relying on AI for strategic financial decisions or strategic decisions and directions and growth in the business, they need to be very careful what the AI is saying because it will likely be wrong 50% of the time, deliberately. So we need to be the ones helping the clients understand the financial implications and the strategic directions the business is going, not AI. And we need to be talking to our clients about this 50% sycophancy study that was done. It's peer reviewed and it's in science. It's not a oh, we think it's wrong 50% of the time. This is like really big stuff that they've done on it. The next big points that we need to be getting across to our clients is we understand context. If you're asking it something and you don't know the right questions to ask, it will give you answers it thinks you should have based on the information you've given it. It won't understand why you're asking the question generally, and it won't understand the bigger picture. As accountants, we get that. So that's why we should be the ones asking the questions, not the AI. The other big thing is we don't forget between meetings. AI is notorious. It doesn't remember between sessions. Often, if you have a big long chat, it might be great at the start, but it tends to drift midway through. We do not do that, which means we are far more likely to be able to help the clients move through and get to the right answer. We have skin in the game. If we make a mistake, our PI gets hit. If an AI makes a mistake, it says, "Oh, fair cop. Oh, oops, sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, never mind." That's big and that's huge. And this trusted advisor, this is where this becomes really, really important. We have skin in the game. And the last one's accountability. We can hold our clients accountable to achieve success. AI is not able to do that, certainly not at the moment. So those are really five key things. I wanted to quickly, and I know we're running out of time, Donna, so I'm going to fly through this. Um, this is a great chart that I hope accountants really get, and bookkeepers as well, by the way, because I know that we have bookkeepers on, and I'm using accountants loosely in the term of accountants and bookkeepers. Joseph Pine wrote a book in the late 90s about the experience economy, and he was talking about effectively how customers and clients needed an experience to feel loved, cared for, and that they valued more and therefore would pay more for if we created an overall experience. And it was a great book, and it really drove the hospitality industry and industries like insurance. It was a massively powerful book in moving those businesses forward and creating experiences for their customers. And he wrote a book at the start of this year, which was called The Transformation Economy, where he argued that it was no longer good enough to just give clients an experience. You needed to be able to help clients become the person or that they wanted to be. So you needed to be in the transformation business. And when we apply this to accounting and bookkeeping, I've just given you the various levels and layers in Joseph Pine's progression of economic value here. At commodity level, I think that's the data entry and the bookkeeping and the bank reconciliation. That's just the what we need to do to get forward. Now, that's not to say any of these isn't a valuable role. It's just this is where it sits on the economic value chain. And if we're just delivering a bookkeeping service, it might be great for us to be able to just put a little bit more insight into those numbers, to be able to do a little bit more than just the data entry and to be able to help the client move forward. The next one is the basically package tax returns. So it's the goods level, he calls it, but I see that as us offering software and templates and off you go. The services is where we mainly sit as accountants, and that's the compliance, the accounts, the statutory filings, bookkeepers that would be doing the VAT returns. This is at this level, and this is where most firms are stuck. And the margins that they're achieving at this level are 40 to 50%. And I know this from all the benchmarking data that we have on Clarity. The next level up obviously is experiences. So that's quarterly reviews, maybe, or doing management accounts. But again, we had, I think Tim Charles, one of our members, says that at that level, when he does management accounts meetings, the clients have complained that he's not moving the needle. that they're having meetings, nothing's really happening off the back of them. The client doesn't then really value them. Like they're helpful, but they don't move the needle, is what they're saying. And that's effectively this transformation. So I think that's where we can get to as what we call numbers mentor, because I think the term business advisor is just outdated. So a numbers mentor gets to this level, helps businesses achieve what they're looking to do. And that's where you see margins of 80%. And Sharon will tell you about those, and Graham here about those 80% margins, which has a massive impact on the profitability of accounting firms. This also transfers to your clients too, by the way. So whatever works for us clearly works for our clients. I wanted to talk to you about the support challenge framework, and I know we're pushing time, so I am on thin ice here. I wanted to talk about basically the accountability bit, and if I've got permission, which I have had a thumb up, I'll go through this more slowly. So when this is how we help our clients with accountability. When we are low challenge and when we give them low support, it's effectively we're in that apathetic phase of business. It's the compliance machine. We send them out accounts. We don't really care. I'm not saying anybody here, by the way. I'm just saying this is an industry sending out accounts, not having any conversations about it. It's purely a transactional relationship. We do your accounts once a year and off we go. That is what we would, I suppose, in this framework call apathetic. When we have high challenge and low support, it just becomes really stressful for the clients because they're constantly being challenged and they're not being given the support on what they need to do to be able to move forward. So they feel judged, they feel criticized, and effectively it's going to end the relationship because we are constantly pushing, pushing, pushing. And I think if you think of this in the context of a great teacher that you had, or maybe your parents, and you push this in this framework, if you have high challenge all the time, you're going to fight, basically, or you're not going to do what people say because it's just fractious. So when we have high support and low challenge, it means we're giving lots of support, but we're not actually keeping the clients really putting the needle to the flame, their feet to the flame when we should be doing it. And that means it's all a bit comfortable. It's that sycophantic phase. It's where that AI is doing at the moment. We know the client isn't doing great. We know the numbers aren't doing great, but we're not actually pushing them and saying, why is your GP margin gone down 2% over the last 3 years? Why is your growth rate of revenue only at 1% when previously it was 10%? By just having those conversations with our clients, it's having a massive impact on what we can do to help them understand what's going on in their business and actually help them fix it. So this is where we have low challenge and high support in that comfortable phase. And when we have high challenge and high support, this is where it becomes that Pines transformational bit. And this is effectively saying, well done when you've did good stuff, and bad person when you haven't done the things that you said you're going to do and the things you committed to do. And us actually having that stick and holding clients accountable is what's really going to make them take the actions necessary to drive their business forward. If we just give them actions from a management accounts meeting and see them next quarter, and they haven't done half of it because they're too busy and that you don't understand, Ainsley, I'm not like you, I just don't have the time type comments that I used to get as an accountant, then this is what we need to do to be able to help our clients move forward. The big dirty secret in our industry that nobody wants to talk about is that firms that do advisory bolt it on to compliance and do bespoke advisory lose 30% of their profitability. So anybody in the past who has tried advisory and has flunked it is not your fault. You're using a model that was built in the 1980s for large, big four firms. It was never probably suitable for small businesses then, and it certainly isn't now for the world that we now live in. So if you've tried advisory and then you've stuck it and it's not worked, it's because of the model that you've been told by the institutes, by all the software vendors, by all the networks out there. They are telling you to do an advisory that was never built for small businesses and is never going to work. And no wonder you can't do it because it is draining your profitability and the senior people's time in the firm. This is about 3 timesing your profit by doing advisory the right way. And there is a right way. And there's plenty of people here who can talk to you about that. So at Clarity, we have effectively help you understand what advisory is in the first place so that you can be able to talk to yourself, your team, and your clients. We help you engage with the right clients to be able to move forward. We help you create the journey for the clients that will create that experiential and transformational effect. And then we help you transform the practice going forward so that it's not just for the top 5, 10% of clients, it's across the board with your team and clients, going from showing what happened to changing what happens. And I wanted to quickly take you through this, and then I'm done, I promise. The advisory map that we use at Clarity is really helpful structure for you and your clients to help them understand what they need to be doing. So it's where are they now? And in Clarity, we use the 7 key numbers that every business owner knows, should know. And we've shown you how they map into the 7 reasons. And so it's a really clear, systematic, diagnostic approach to the business. We can then see how they're comparing to others in their in their peers. And in Clarity, we've got about 16,000 data points on the system, so it's reasonable. I mean, benchmarking is benchmarking. It's lots of I appreciate issues with the quality of data in, etc. But it's giving you a much better understanding of where the client should be. It's also then understanding what's possible for the client. Because the thing is, if we don't know what the potential is, we may not get to the right, we might do the wrong things and not get to the right answer. So if we know what's possible, and nature always looks at potential rather than problem solution mentality. If we look at the potential and say, what is possible? Okay, now let's shift the conversation on what are you going to need to do to be able to get there? It's a very different conversation than here's this problem, let's fix it. Here's this next problem, let's fix it. So it's a much more optimum solution to look at the potential in the organization. Then it's about creating and understanding the shifts required to get from A to B. So this is the sat nav. You're at point A, you know where point B is. Let's create a route from A to B. Now, at Clarity, we know that just giving clients a numbers plan doesn't work because they don't know numbers in the first place. And if you give them a plan that's based on numbers, they won't know what they need to do to make that plan come true. So this is about helping them understand the actions that are going to drive the numbers in the right direction. And that whole continuous monitoring and review process makes sure that we're understanding, because we never know what's going to work or not. We never know what the right answer is before we take small, calculated risks, small decisions, measure the impact, and then understand whether those actions are having the desired financial impact, and then we can help our clients move forward. Now, this plays to our strengths as accountants because it's all about numbers. It's all about us reading the numbers and understanding what's going on in the business and holding our clients to account for the actions that they think they need to make to move the numbers forward. And effectively, you can package those up into 3 different products. One is a business diagnostic review that you can help your clients with. One is a planning service that you can help with. And then one is a monitoring service that you can help your clients with. And different clients will want different services at different points in their life cycle and at their size as well. So it enables you to basically deliver advisory to pretty much 80% of those clients that want it. So that's it. Thank you, Donna. There is a numbers mentor pledge that you can take so that can get you started on the journey. So please have a look at that. If you think it's right for you, then it's not going to cost you anything to just say, actually, this is who we are and this is what we're about and this is what we stand for. If you want to talk about the drift for your clients, then I can get you bulk discount prices. So don't worry, the publishers have done bulk discounts for accountants. And I guess this isn't just what I'm saying. I'm going to fly through these. This is what all these people are saying about what they can do to make a massive difference to help their clients and their firms move forward. You probably know lots of these people on screen. There are many, many more, but I just wanted you to see it's not just me that's talking about this. So thank you very much. And I'll leave you with the firms that move first don't just protect the relationship, they own it.
Perfect. Thank you. Can you just quickly pop back up your QR code again, Aynsley, just purely because I didn't even have a chance to get my camera out. So if there's anyone who wanted to obviously grab a sight of that, you have the opportunity now.
I will make sure you get all the links as well, Donna.
Perfect. Thank you so, so much. Did anyone have any questions for Aynsley initially, or are we all clear, or can't see everyone? I've got to change my view.
Got to change the view.
Just a quick one, if that's okay. Can you share a link to your book so we can actually purchase it?
Of course I will do. Yeah.
I've got it.
Thank you.
I can put it in the chat. I've got it ready. Is that all right?
Oh, she's
Good.
very
Wonderful,
good.
yeah.
Well then.
Can I ask, Aynsley, do you think there is a minimum level of client that would, or a minimum, I don't know whether it's an income or a profit or a size or a structure that somebody has to be to almost qualify? Because a lot of the people that I think need the most help are sometimes the smallest businesses. They are the one-man band plumber and things like that, and they need that help, but potentially going to them anything more than a minimum compliance fee. They're like, well, I need a guarantee in cast iron your result will be X. Otherwise, I can't risk investing in it either.
Yeah. Okay, so I know small business owners, but because we used to be the accountants for the entrepreneurs circle. So I know that they get fees of, 16 grand from small businesses turning over 50, 60,000.
Yeah.
And you might think, that's outrageous. What they're doing is they're talking to them in the language that those small business owners understand. They're talking to them about the potential for the outcomes, and they're talking to them about what they can achieve. Now, I'm not suggesting that us as accountants would do that, by the way, but I'm just saying there are coaches and mentors, not just the entrepreneur circle, across the board that are charging smaller businesses quite significant sums of money to be able to help them, because small business is a lonely place.
Yeah.
You have very few people to talk to. You can't talk to your friends and family because you don't freak them out. Most of your friends are probably in the corporate sector and they don't really get what you're talking about. And so you don't really have that safe space to have a chat. So anything you can do to help business owners provide that space and monetize it for yourself, let's be honest, because this isn't about just freebies. This is charging your value, then that's really, really important that we get that across. Now, at Clarity, and Sharon will tell you, we have services that we've built these, it's like we've done everything from how to market, price, sell, deliver advisory at scale. It isn't just about, here's a piece of software, off you go. We understand that accountants need a lot of help. In implementation, that is, sorry.
In general, as an
Just in
industry.
implementation. We've created packages that they can sell from £97 a month. So that shows you that you can probably deliver an element now, and this is structured approach to it, right? This isn't about free for all. This isn't about draining our resources. This is about providing structured process to delivering advisory from £97 a month. So I think we can go quite small. I feel though, in my practice, we would have probably looked at firms of around 250 turnover upwards for something like this. But then we were an expensive accounting firm at the time, and it would have been deemed the most expensive accounting firm in the UK. We were extremely valuable and we knew what we were worth. But a lot of people used paced us on Accounting Web for the prices that we used to charge. So we probably wouldn't have gone down below 250 for a turnover. But I certainly know some of the larger firms that I've seen nationally go to about 80K.
Okay. It's interesting.
Sorry,
we have
Sharon.
as well. I was going to add to it. So, so we've got clients that we've been using Clarity for about 6 years, and clients absolutely love it, how visual it is. But we've got clients who were like a one-man band plumber, and we were looking at improvements over the year of, I think, just £10,000, and he was happy to pay us, I think, 157 a month. But then, like Aynsley said, the structure's in there and the pricing based on how much we're supporting them. But I'm saying this, Aynsley would say this as well. I bet you've got clients that you're doing the accounts or bookkeeping for, and you'll see payments to business coaches. Like Aynsley was saying, what people pay on Entrepreneur Circle. We've seen it ourselves. So I had a client who wouldn't. Yeah, it's a mindset, isn't it? And it's how we're communicating to them. So I think at the beginning of my journey with Clarity, I think I quoted, I don't know, £300 a month or something for helping them get to where they wanted to be. They rejected that, but then they took on a business coach for £2,000 a month. So I think I was not communicating properly. So the first thing this business coach did was fill in all this stuff for me, fill in these forms. I'm going to spend 2 weeks thinking about your business. Absolute rubbish. But it's but the Clarity, it's all there, like Aynsley said, and it's a really nice structure. Clients absolutely love it, and it's, as an accountant, it's a really lovely way to spend your time with businesses as well. It's more fun. So
thank you, I appreciate that. It's always good to hear someone who's used it in practice, and their experiences. Did anyone else have any questions at all for Aynsley? Oh, you've been so clear and transparent with your explanation today. I think you've done a fabulous job. I am aware we're just slightly over time, so I know some people will need to rush off to meetings and whatnot. But thank you so much for joining us today. I think everyone has had a wonderful time, and I think you've really brought something very important to the forefront for the group.
Confessions of an Accountant, where no topic is off the ledger.